So in this video we will first look at how to compute the power function. So if I have to compute x to the power n where x is an integer and let's say n is also an integer, the one way to do it is just to multiply x n number of times, and so that will be a linear time algorithm. But we will see in this video there is an order log n algorithm to compute x to the power n given x and n. So this can be generalized to computing let's say a to the power n, where a is a 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 matrix and n is any number. So given a matrix A which is either 2 cross 2 or 3 cross 3 and an integer n, a to the power n also can be found in order log n. We will look at this, and as an application of this we will be using this algorithm in the next video to construct an efficient algorithm for the Fibonacci sequence modulo 10. So we are given x and n. So what we are supposed to compute is x to the power n. Let's look at a recursive power function which will compute x to the power n given x and n. If n is 0, then x to the power 0 will be 1. So if n is 0, then will return 1. This is the termination condition for the recursion. If n is even, that is n percentile 2 is 0, then we compute x square to the power n by 2. So we pass x square, multiply x with x, and pass this as a parameter, and divide n by 2, compute x square to the power n by 2. If this condition is true, false, that means that n is an odd number, then we compute x square to the power n by 2 and then multiply by x. So this is a very simple recursive algorithm which is supposed to compute x to the power n. So we need to see why this algorithm is correct and what is the complexity of this algorithm. Let's first look at the why this algorithm is correct. If n is even, then n can be written as n into 2, n is equal to 2 into k, where k is another integer, so that n by 2, which is the integer division, will be exactly equal to k. So in this case what we are doing is that we are computing recursively x to the power k, because k here will be n by 2. So x square to the power k can be written as x to the power 2k, which is exactly same as x to the power n. So in this case what we are doing is correct. If n is odd, then n can be written as 2 into k plus 1. So n by 2, when you do divide by 2, the integer division will only give you k. So if you compute x into x square to the power n by 2, which is k, then what you get is the x to the power 2k plus 1, which is exactly equal to n. So whether is n is odd or even, this recursive function will compute the x to the power n correctly. Now let's try to understand what is the complexity of this algorithm. Let's define Tn is the number of multiplications that the algorithm does to compute x to the power n. Remember that this algorithm does lot of other operations like division, comparison, percentile, and other things, but we will only look at and count the number of multiplications that this algorithm does, because the moment number of multiplications if you compute, then the number of divisions, number of other operations that we do will be proportional to the number of multiplications. So in order to compute the total number of operations that this algorithm does, it's enough if you compute the total number of multiplications that this algorithm does. So if T of n is defined as the number of multiplications that this algorithm does to compute x to the power n, then we can see that T of n will be 1 plus T of n by 2 if n is even, because in this case you only do one multiplication here. If it is an odd number, then you first multiply x square. Whatever results that you get, you will have to multiply with x. In that case, you will be doing two multiplications. After that, you recursively find x square to the power t of n by 2. So once you call the recursion, the size of the integer that we have n decreases by reduces by half, right? So in this case, if n is even, you get this recursion. If n is odd, you get this recursion. You can use this to get both lower bound and upper bound for T of n. So if you consider the worst case, T of n will anyway be is either 1 plus T of n by 2 or 2 plus T of n by 2. So T of n will in any case will be smaller than 2 plus T of n by 2. Now if you apply again the same formula, T of n by 2 will be smaller than 2 plus T of n by 4. So this will be smaller than 4 into T of n by 4. If I apply k number of times, what do I get is 2 into k plus T of n by 2 to the power k. Every time you will be adding a 2 constant to the summation here, but inside this T of n by 2, so every time when you apply this, the power of 2 will increase by 1. So you will be adding a 2 here, but when you go inside this T of thing, every time it will increase the exponent of 2 by 1. So in general you will get T of n is smaller than 2 into k plus T of n by 2 to the power k. So now this will terminate when n is T of 1 is 1, right? So or T of 0 is 1. Okay, so T of 1 is 1, so this will terminate when n is roughly 2 to the power k. So n is 2 to the power k basically means that k is log of n. So if I plug in the value of k is equal to log of n, I get 2 into log of n plus T of 1. In that case it does we will not do any multiplication, this will just return 1. So now let's try to compute the lower bound for this. T of n can be written as greater than 1 plus T of n by 2, because it's either 1 or 2, so we can always write that T of n is greater than 1 plus T of n by 2. If I apply the same algorithm, T of n by tame recursion, T of n by 2 can be written as 1 plus T of n by 4. So it becomes 2 plus T of n by 4. So if I apply k number of times, I get k plus T of n by 2 to the power k. If I plug in the value of k is equal to log of n, then I get that this will be log of n plus T of 1, which is 0. So in summary, what we are going to get is that T of n is at most 2 into log of n, but it will be at least log of n. So T of n is a number between a log of n and 2 into log of n. So we can write that T of n, which is the number of multiplications done by the algorithm to compute x to the power n, can be written as theta of n, theta of log of n. So this is a logarithmic algorithm. So but this algorithm is recursive algorithm. So we look at an iterative algorithm which does the same thing. So here x to the power n is what we want to compute. I have a variable y. So at the end of the algorithm, I will return the variable y. As long as n is greater than 0, I go inside the loop. If n is odd, then I update my y to be y into x. After that, I square my x, and n is updated as n by 2. That's all. So what is easy to see in this case is that this algorithm takes order log n number of computations, because the number of times the while loop is run is exactly equal to log of n, because every time when I go inside the loop, n becomes n by 2. So n is reduced by half every time when I go inside the loop. So the number of times I go inside the loop is exactly a log of n. So I either do one multiplication or two multiplications and one division when I go inside the loop. So it's either one or two multiplication or one division. So the total number of times the while loop runs is log of n, and each time when I go inside a while loop, I do constant number of operations. So the entire complexity of this algorithm is order log n. But the important thing that we have to understand here is that why this algorithm is correct. Let's look at a small example. So try to analyze what's happening. Let's say that I want to compute x to the power 28. So here when I go inside the while loop in various iterations, I have the values of n and y and x. N, when I go first time, n will be 28. Then x will remain as x was x. But y, since this is a even number, y will not be updated. So y will remain as 1. So when I go, so x will be updated to x square when I come to the next iteration. So when I come to the next iteration, n will be 14, x would have become x square, but y was not updated. I am not going to update y not in this iteration also, because the number 14 is a even number. When I come to the next iteration, n will be 7. My x would have been already incremented to x to the power 4. Now this 7 is an odd number, so I have to update my y is equal to y into x, but x value is x to the power 4. So my y will be updated to x to the power 4, and my x will be updated to x to the power 8, and the n will be updated to 3. 3 is an odd number, so y will be updated to y into x, that is x to the power 4 into x to the power 8, which is x to the power 12. In the next iteration, n becomes 1, x will be x to the power 16. Now if you look at this is 1, so I have to multiply x to the power 16 with x to the power 12, so this becomes x to the power 28. So when next iteration, when I come inside, this is already 0, x would have been x to the power 32, but in that case I will not go inside the loop, because x is already 0. I go inside the loop only if x is greater than 0. So the algorithm terminates, I get x to the power 28, which is the y value, right? So the algorithm will end up returning 28, which is the right answer. So the idea here is that let's just look at the n in the binary representation. N can be written as a summation of b of I into 2 to the power I. This is the binary representation, so b of I will be either 0 or 1. So every number has a binary representation, so we are looking at the binary representation of n, which is equal to summation of b of I into 2 to the power I. b of I is either 0 or n. Now if you look at x to the power n, this can be written as x to the power summation b of I into 2 to the power I. This summation can be expanded as product of x to the power b of I into 2 to the power I, right? So this is b of I into 2 to the power I. So this product, so here basically I am using the fact that x to the power a plus b is equal to x to the power a into x to the power b. Now let's look at the specific case when b of I is 0, then the contribution of b of I to the product is 1, because x to the power 0 into 2 to the power I will be x to the power 0, which is 1. In the case when b of I is 1, then this term, inside the term, product term will be x to the power 2 to the power I. So then the ith term will be x to the power 2 to the power I. So if the ith binary number is 0, then we don't have to multiply, but if ith bit is 1, then we have to multiply with the power of 2, x to the power 2 to the power I. So whether this is even or not is essentially same as checking whether the b's of I is 1 or 0. So the number is going to be 1 if and only if b's of I is 1. In this case I multiply x to the y is equal to x, but x in this case will be x to the power 2 to the power I, because every time when I go inside the loop, x is going to be squared. So in the ith loop, when I in the indexing starting with 1, so 0, what I look at is that indexing in the 0th iterations, when I go for first time, x will be x to the power 2 to the power 0, right? So that is x to the power 1. In next time when it comes, x becomes x square, x to the power 4, and x to the power 8, and things like that. So what you notice here is that in the ith loop we are checking whether the b of I is 0 or 1, and so if it is 1, then you have to multiply y is equal to x, but x value is x to the power 2 to the power I, right? So basically we are writing x to the power n as x to the power summation b of I into 2 to the power I, which can actually be written as product of x to the power b of I into 2 to the power I. If b of I is 0, then the ith term contribution is 1, so you don't have to do anything. If b of I is 1, then the ith term contribution is x to the power 2 to the power I. But the invariant that we are maintaining when you go inside the loop is that x will always have the value x to the power 2 to the power I. That's precisely the reason why this algorithm is correct, and as I discussed earlier, this is a complexity of this algorithm is theta of log of n. Now let's look at how to multiply a to the power n, where a is a 2 by 2 matrix. You are given a matrix A, which is a square matrix. This method should work for any square matrix, but we will be interested in specifically about 2 cross 2 matrix. I want to compute a to the power n, right? So we will use the previous algorithm. Instead of computing x to the power n, we are computing a to the power n. So when n is odd, so I wrote y is equal to y into x, but y is an integer, y is a matrix here. So this one I mean here, it's an identity matrix. I start with y is equal to identity matrix and I return the final answer, which is a to the power n. So y has to be updated to y into x. So in the earlier case, this was just an integer. I could just write it is equal to y is equal to y into x. But since x and y are matrices here, what I need to do is that I have to multiply y and x. So I'll assume that I have a multi function which will take two square matrices and multiply them and give me the answer. Since this is a 2 cross 2 matrix, the amount of computation that is involved in multiplying two 2 cross 2 matrices is constant. Okay, so here also, since the size of the matrix is a constant, the multiplication function will work in the constant time. So the x was updated as x into x. So I multiply x with itself and update my x as this, and n will be n by 2. So as discussed earlier, so the instead of multiplying two integer, I am multiplying here to 2 cross 2 matrices. The multiplying to 2 cross 2 matrices is again a constant time operation, but the number of times this while loop will run is only log of n. So the total complexity of this algorithm as well is theta of log of n. So what happens if I have to find a to the power n, where a is a 2 cross 2 matrix, but my n is a very large number, let's say a 1000-digit number. Okay, so if n is a very large number, a 1000-digit number that I have to represent, then see, if I have the binary representation of n, if n is given in the binary representation, so I can store this in a array B, then it's easy to rewrite this algorithm. So what I have to do is that checking whether it is even or not is basically checking whether b of I is 0 or 1. If b of I is 1, then by the equation that I wrote, I have to update my y is equal to y into x. Otherwise I don't have to, right? So I just look at the binary digits one by one, and if it's 1, I update this, otherwise I don't update it. So n is equal to dividing n by n is equal to n by 2 is essentially incrementing the counter by 1. So since it's a binary representation, it's a long array, I start passing from one end to the other end. I is equal to I plus 1 will take care of the, will eventually do the same work of n is equal to n by 2 implicitly. So because I am given the binary, the number in the binary representation. So this algorithm will compute the a to the power n, where n can be a very large number, and we are assuming that we are given the binary representation of n. So what if n is not given in the binary representation? Let's say that it's given in the decimal representation, then I can't use the previous algorithm. So one way to solve this problem is just convert the number into from decimal to binary. But if you convert the number from decimal to binary, that will take log square n number of computations, right? So if you convert the number from decimal to binary and then apply the previous algorithm, the conversion is log square n and the power function is log of n. So the converting a number from decimal to binary becomes the dominating term, right? So that's not a good thing to do. So we can modify this algorithm. Instead of looking at b of I is equal to 1, you have to consider 9 different cases and then appropriately update your y, right? So since it's binary, it's either 0 or 1. If it is 0, we don't have to do anything, otherwise it's 1. In the case of decimal representation, so this will have 9 cases. In 9 cases, you have to write an appropriate multiplication function. So I will leave the details for you to figure out. So I hope you can figure out the details. We can compute a to the power n in log of n time. So given A, which is a 2 cross 2 matrix, and n is, even if it's a very large number, a to the power n can be computed in order log n time.